offer our devotion. And we eagerly accept this Krishna anxiety, just to, please the Lord. That's a sign of love, Yes. Yeah, so now, of course, we might say, well, when we have here some festivals coming up, Janmashtami or whatever, so there's also anxiety, but I don't feel it's bliss, No, it's distress. So it means that our anxiety is not completely pure yet. If there is some material aspects in it that maybe we are worried about, the false ego, what do we look like, will we go here, who did it all, So if we have that concern, then the anxiety becomes suffering, Yes, understand, Or even on Prabhupada marathon book distribution, whatever. So the more pure our anxiety is, simply centered around the Lord's pleasure, actually becomes. Yes. And I'm sure we all have some experience of that bliss, right? Yes, when we're actually in anxiety, and especially looking back, it was a great time. It was so blissful, Yes. But if it is not purely centered around Krishna, so this also connects nicely. There's a very nice purport where Prabhupada talks this anxiety in one sense. So this is 2.9.24 from the Bhagavatam. I've made this little verse book here for myself where I copy all different nice nectar things, because I don't have much in my head, so I need it in my little book, So there Prabhupada says, in executing penance, one must be determined to return home back to Godhead, and must decide to undergo all types of tribute, even for material prosperity, name and fame. One has to undergo severe types of penance. Otherwise, no one can become an important figure in this material world. Why then are there severe types of penance for the perfection of devotional service? And now the key sentence comes. An easy-going life and attainment of perfection in transcendental realization cannot go together. I really like that one, Yes. The Lord is more clever than any living entity. Therefore, he wants to see how painstaking the devotee is in devotional service. The order is received from the Lord, either directly or through the bona fide spiritual master. And to execute that order, however painstaking, is the severe type of penance. One who follows the principle rigidly is sure to achieve success in attaining the Lord's mercy. So this very nicely connects with this topic of anxiety. So if we think, in Krishna consciousness, we find some corner, where we have shanti, so then we joined the wrong movement. Krishna consciousness is not meant for this. There's no room for an easy-going life. Yes. If we try and find our easy-going life in Krishna consciousness, we are simply missing out. Yeah. We will not be able to capture Krishna's merciful glance. Yes. And also, in this morning walk, Prabhupada nicely explains another point which I forgot to mention, that the impersonalists, they want to merge into the Brahman effulgence. I was often wondering, what is so nectar there for them? Why do they want to merge? Well, the reason is because they want to be free from anxiety. That's the reason, you know, because they're stressed out by material anxiety, but they don't know that secret, that we are simply meant to redirect the anxiety and then it becomes bliss. So that's why they want, oh, I just want shanti, shanti, I've had enough, you know. And that's why they think, okay, let's merge, you know, yes. But as Prabhupada says, no, because the soul by nature is active. The soul wants relationships. There has to be anxiety. So we cannot stay there. We will fall down again, you know, yes. Yes, but this point of, you know, no easygoing life, this is such an important thing, because sometimes, you know, on my travels I come across this. Devotees say, well, you know, at the temple there's some tension and some difficulties. I just stay in my home, I practice for myself, you know, I chant, I do my little puja, and all right, I do some little seva over the internet, and that's enough for me, don't push me, you know. Yes, but with that mood, we cannot really cultivate bhakti, actually. But serving in cooperation with devotees, this is the whole challenge for the false ego, right? Oh yes, you know, that's when we are in the fire of purification, you know. But if we're just at home and staying aloof and just sometimes coming whenever we feel like or something, yeah, this will not really cultivate bhakti so easily. Yeah, because we don't put ourselves keen for Krishna anxiety. You know, we have to get only our service only transforms the heart when the heart is, yeah. If we just make a little service without really giving our very best, that will not cultivate bhakti, you know. There is another nice statement. Where do I have it? I think, let me try here if I find it. There's a nice statement where Prabhupada says, where is it? Well, I paraphrase, where Prabhupada says, bhakti comes from the word bhakti. And I mean, we have it also in Satatam Kirtayantumam Yatanda Sadratavata, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination. Yeah. So this is also a very important key, you know, to success. Whatever we do, we have to do with, and only then it cultivates bhakti. Yeah, but if we just serve only with 5% endeavor, you know, just cruising, doing the bare minimum, so nobody gets on our case, you know, that service mood will not cultivate bhakti. But if we give our everything, which means anxiety is involved, and only then bhakti will grow there. I mean, here, Kartik, Mother Yashoda, you know, she was endeavoring. My God, she could have easily given up, you know, after 2 times tying the rope. Oh, this is not working, so my son must be some mystic yogi. Let's forget about it, you know. She could have said that, right? Yes, that's probably what we would have said, you know. But no, no matter how much rope I'm connecting, this is always too short, you know, yes. Yeah, so good, you know, that if we just cruise along and just do our service mechanically, just to the bare minimum endeavor, bhakti will not grow there. If we don't know this, we can waste a lot of time in our devotional life, you know, not realizing. But now we have to endeavor with great determination, like Mother Yashoda, you know. And that will attract Krishna's merciful glands, and bhakti will grow there, you know. All right, 10 to 9. What do we do? Shall we first ask for... Okay, so let me say a few words about each book. Spiritual Culture, Krishna's Divine System. Actually, this book is all about women. We women play a very important role. We are meant to be the power of inspiration to the men. That's what Bhagavatam says. And we are not meant to compete with the men. I'm sure the men like to hear that one, right? So, yes, because of the man-woman equality, which, by the way, is on the level of the soul, but not on the level of the body. So, but because of the soul, man-woman equality, we women often compete with the men. Yes, and the men don't like that very much. Maybe some of the women have noticed this, you know. So, and interestingly, you know, this is the reason why in Kali Yuga the men become more and more weak and irresponsible, because we women don't empower them. We want to be the hero ourselves rather than making the man the hero. I mean, it's a whole big topic, very controversial topic, you know. Yes, yeah. In America, I have to be very careful with this stuff. So I hope there's... do you broadcast? I hope nobody watches this from America. So anyway, so all I can say is every woman who wants to have harmonious relationships with men in her life, not only in family life, in all dealings, in the community, at work, wherever it may be, please check out this book. There's a lot of good insights there. By the way, the men always love this book. They always say, oh, finally somebody understands how a man's heart is ticking. That's what they always say. Yes, yes, yes. So, and if the men want to get the empowerment and support of the women, they should also check it out. And actually, especially here in India, many temples use this book as a handbook for brahmachari training, even though the whole book is about women. Yes, because it touches upon all the controversial topics about women. You know, are women less intelligent, and women doing this, women doing that? Yes, yes, because Bhagavatam Prabhupada makes very strong statements about women. And we have to know how to explain these things to people. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, so it is a very important topic. And when you read this, you will realize how this man-woman equality puts the whole human society upside down. Yeah, Prabhupada said it all. Yeah, but because we are so much on the bodily platform, that's why we apply the equality on the level of the body, you know, instead of the soul. Yes. Oh my God. Whole big topic. Then sheltering relationships. This is all about the importance of having a counselor. That just having Diksha Guru not enough. We need a counselor. We need this well-wishing friend who is more experienced, who can guide us, who we want to be corrected by, who can help us to balance our life, and. So if when you read this book, you will be convinced that without having a counselor and eventually becoming one to others, we actually cannot make advancement. We have lost a lot of devotees over the 50 years because we did not understand the importance of mentorship, counselor. And then we have the false ego, our constant companion and troublemaker. Title speaks for itself. False ego is so subtle. We usually miss it. We don't even identify how the false ego is pushing and torturing us and creating our miseries. You know, when we get offended and when we can't forgive, there's all false ego hanging on to the grudges and crying for justice and all that, you know. Yes, and there's a lot of tips how to identify the false ego, how to dissolve it, or different rules of Vaishnava etiquette. And there's a whole chapter on chanting the holy name in japa and kirtan. I do conduct holy name retreats. My favorite one is in ISKCON every year over Christmas. Give me that poster there. Of course, I know you are all focusing. That poster. You're all focusing. That's all right, that's all right. Sit down, sit down. I just wanted to show the advertisement for the Holy Name Retreat in ISKCON, but I know it's doing the Prabhupada Marathon, unfortunately, you know, yes. 24th to 28th of December. But it's a really sweet and deep experience. We stay there 4 nights, and I take my audience on a whole journey in regards to the holy name, and you get a whole folder with printed materials, and we do exercises and kirtans where we apply what we discussed during the day. And yeah, so it's amazing experience. So spending 4 nights in ISKCON, Nityananda's birthplace, you can't go wrong, you know, yes. So yeah, in this False Ego book, there is a summary of a holy name retreat, which of course cannot replace the experience, but at least it gives you some clear tools how to get to the point of chanting Trinada Pisuni Chena, right? That means false ego has to be dissolved. So holy name and false ego, they're a very good combination to discuss, you know. And then we have entering the Grihastha Ashram. This is a handbook for matchmaking. How to see that a boy and a girl are matching for marriage. There's a whole list of over 200 topics which should be discussed with a cool head, without pink glasses on. That's why I made it pink, by the way. Because once people have the pink glasses on, they can't see what they get themselves into, you know. Yes. See, this is a problem in India. Our matchmaking system needs to be a little adjusted and fine-tuned, you know. And we don't only look at caste and money, but there's so many other levels of compatibility. And we have to give the two involved a little bit of time to talk about things. Even when you buy a computer, you know, you spend quite a bit of time looking at this model and that thing, and what do I need, what's important for me, what don't I need. You know, what to speak of marriage, it's an important thing. So we have to really, you know, see that we are on the same wavelength. Now in India, the divorce rate is going up. Yeah. And very often people get divorced after 6 months of marriage, because after 6 months they realize they have talked after 6 months, you know, and they realize, hey, this will not work. We're just on a different planet here, you know. Yes, yes. Yeah, because see, Krishna consciousness is a broad spectrum. You can be on the very committed and dedicated and strict side, or you can be on the casual and liberal side. This has to match. Yes, yes. And you will see when you talk. And by the way, this list of topics is not my list. It's from Bhaktivedanta Manor in London. And they have a huge Indian community. So it's an Indian list. It's not a German list. And then we have family life as an ashram, secrets of success. How to create this culture of bhakti in our home. Yes. Many married devotees' home life, you can't call it an ashram. It's not a place suitable for cultivating bhakti. Yes, we have to change a few lifestyle habits and we have to get some training in this. See, and because people's home life is not an ashram, that's what gives the grihastha ashram a bad name. Then people think, oh, these grihasthas, they don't make any progress. Hey, no, most of our acharyas were grihasthas, but their family life was an ashram, a place suitable for bhakti, whereas ours is not. And that's where we have to work on. So it's like a handbook for successful Krishna-conscious family life. Very important also for guiding people, for training them, and there's a whole chapter on physical intimacy in marriage. How to live this principle of no illicit sex life. There's quite a bit of confusion. Nobody talks about it, especially here in India. You know, it's a taboo, and people are often at a loss trying to work out how to make this work, you know. So I did some research. I came across interesting episodes with Prabhupada where he says things which most of us haven't heard because they're not in the Bhagavatam. Yes? So it adds a whole different perspective to the topic. So I hope this book will make our family life more Krishna conscious and at the same time emotionally balanced and healthy. You know, yeah. So, and then last but not least, the Vanaprastha ashram. Not Varnashram, but Vanaprastha. Meeting death with joy. There is a whole chapter on death. What happens on all the subtle levels, how to prepare, how to accompany others. Very important service. I have accompanied quite a few personalities in this last 2 weeks. Very crucial time. We have to know what to do, what not to do. Otherwise, what's the use of all our preaching? If at that time, you know, we are at a loss and all we know is to scream the Maha Mantra in people's ears or something. You know, but no need to scream. You know, the hearing is very sharp when you're about to leave. No need to scream. So there's so many things which we should consider. Yes, because for young people, grandparents may leave, parents may leave. You know, so we have to know. So I supported both of my parents. I stopped all my traveling. I flew back to Germany. I kept them at home. I didn't put them in the hospital. They didn't want to be in the hospital. So, and I helped them to focus, to let go and move out. And both my parents had an amazing departure, even though they didn't chant every day Hare Krishna. But yeah, so we need all our life, we need good association, and especially in this last phase. And we have to educate ourselves how to serve. And Vanaprastha ashram is not established, you know, even though the Bhagavatam is full of clear statements. That's what I'm saying. People read the Bhagavatam again and again, but they don't get it, that, hey, I'm soon 50, this is for me. I should live this, I should apply this in my life. So that's why people need a little bit of help to understand how to live according to the law books, you know, which Prabhupada's books are. So very practical, all kinds of considerations and principles, what to cultivate and you know. All right, so if anybody would like to get some books, the last 4 books are 350 each. The first 2 are 300 each. Many people get the whole set because they're all good topics. The whole set comes to 2,000 rupees. So, and you can pay cash or with QR code. Okay, so if anybody wants to get some books, so please come up to the book table right now, because it's your only chance. I'm leaving in a few hours. So, And I don't send them out online and all this, you know, you can't order. I'm too busy for this, you know. Yes. You may get the Kindle version on Amazon, but the Kindle version is more expensive than the hardcover book. Huh? You had a look. Yes. So yeah, because it's international, you know, so in the West I sell it for more expensive. Say 400, 500 is the Kindle version. So, and to have a book in your hand, it is nice, you know, you can mark things and all this, you know. Okay, so thank you so much for your kind attention. It was a great pleasure to meet you all. So next time maybe I will stay a little longer. So this time I had 1 week to just jump around in whole Delhi every day somewhere else. It was just a get to know each other visit, you know, like that. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Gaura
Hari Hari Bol. Our Grace Devaki Mataji ki Jai. So devotees, those who want to purchase the books, they can come forward and Mataji would bless you with her signature on the books. Maybe one book if you take the entire set.
Let's go over there.
So the entire set would cost 2,000.
Otherwise, you may pay for the